frame that I'm talking about is October 1, 2018 through the end of this month, September 30th, 2019. Mayor and City Council members, I would like to thank you for another wonderful year and for your support this past fiscal year. The employees worked hard, and together we accomplished so much. We'll talk about the accomplishments later in the presentation, but right now I just want to express that I look forward to the successes that 2020 will bring us. In presenting the state of the city, we're going to give an introduction, talk about the city's financial status, citywide accomplishments, and our next steps for the next fiscal year. In fiscal year 2018-2019, the City of Clearwater employed 1,610 full-time employees, 85 part-time city employees in 23 city departments. They work hard to give exceptional service in an efficient manner and are focused on our mission and vision. So let's talk about where the money goes. In developing the budget for fiscal year 2018-2019, staff strategically reviewed service operations to carefully balance adjustments in staffing and resources with financial stability in the future. The 2018-19 budget was approximately $532 million for citywide services, which was a decrease of $34.7 million across all city operations. The general fund budget reflected expenditures of $148 million. Last year's millage rate was 5.955 mils. This chart represents the city's general fund expenditures. Our operating budget was $148.1 million. Spending on public safety was 48% of our expenses. Quality of life spending was 25% of our budget. 18% was spent on administration and other expenditures. 5% was spent on engineering projects, and 4% was spent on planning and development. This is a chart that represents the city's general fund revenues. Revenues in the city's fiscal year 2018-2019 budget were $148.1 million. 41% came in from property tax, and 16.5% was generated through franchise and utility fees. 16% was generated by intergovernmental streams, and 10% through charges for service. 7.5% of city revenues were generated by transfers in, 4.5% was generated by other taxes, and 4.5% from other sources. Next, we're going to talk about the city's top accomplishments from the fiscal year that just ended. The city has many successes this year, and I want to share those accomplishments with you. Today we have a handout, and I'll just point this out to you. There are a number of accomplishments. I don't have time to cover all of them, and this document won't have all of them as well, but it will give everyone a flavor of the kinds of things that we accomplished this past fiscal year. The city's projects, initiatives, and work all embody the City of Clearwater's strategic direction. It's the city's roadmap that dictates our priorities. The strategic direction embodies these qualities and keeps staff focused on the following priorities: diversifying the economic base, increasing economic opportunity, developing and promoting our brand, fostering community engagement, being efficient, providing quality work, being financially responsible, and keeping people safe. A great deal of multi-department collaboration. The city's public communications and information technology departments improve the accessibility of city websites and social media feeds. Improving accessibility of a website means that individuals with disabilities can more easily obtain the information they seek. This was accomplished in part by re-evaluating the use of Adobe Acrobat PDF documents on the website, converting some to other formats, such as web pages, adding the necessary accessibility conditions to the PDF files that remained, adding or improving the alternative text on website images, and adding closed captioning to video streams. This is a huge project that continues to be implemented citywide and will continue on an ongoing basis for the life of the websites and social media feeds. This project fulfills the city's strategic direction of develop and promote our brand. Clearwater is proud to have been named #1 beach in the United States for the second year in a row and #6 in the world by TripAdvisor.com. Clearwater Beach has been recognized by top travel industry leaders time and time again, including US Today, Forbes magazine, and TripAdvisor's Traveler's Choice Awards. This accomplishment satisfies the city's strategic direction of quality. The city's Human Resources Department completed and implemented a comprehensive classification and compensation study with an outside contractor, public sector personnel consultants, to ensure that job titles and descriptions accurately match the work city employees perform, and the salaries are competitive with a predetermined market. The department negotiated a collective bargain agreement with the Communication Workers of America Union to implement study recommendations. This project represents the city's strategic direction of fiscal responsibility. The city's Community Redevelopment Agency launched the Downtown Mural Program, which resulted in 4 unique murals beautifying downtown sites. The city sees art as a tool for beautification and also as an anchor for redevelopment. Key to Clearwater's mission of revitalizing downtown Clearwater is to create a high-quality public realm that weaves art and culture into the fabrics of everyday life. The Downtown Mural Program embodies the strategic direction of increased economic opportunity. The Community Redevelopment Agency hosted the Dreams of Dali virtual reality experience installation in partnership with the Dali Museum at Second Century Studios. This pop-up exhibition was part of a multitude of interactive pop-up exhibits that Clearwater will host to boost cultural activity in the downtown area. This art experience ties into the strategic direction of increased economic opportunity. We all know how important it is to be ready to serve our community in the event of hurricanes and tropical storms. It is in this spirit that the city constructed an emergency operations center at the fire training facility on Belcher Road. This will be the new city's headquarters in storm events. The facility embodies the strategic direction of safety. It is Category 5 proof. What we have learned is that we have to have the ability to survive a storm and then immediately start working on getting the city back in business. And this will protect our most important public safety elements during the worst storms that we could possibly receive. Not all children eat well during the summertime. That's why select sites of the city's library and recreation centers partner with the United States Department of Agriculture and the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services to host the Summer Break Spot program. Clearwater was able to provide 1,700 free, nutritious meals and snacks to children and teens at the main library and select recreation centers. This accomplishment ties into the city's strategic direction of foster community engagement. The Solid Waste Department expanded its recycling outreach efforts and worked with the Public Communications Department to launch a comprehensive recycling contamination re-education campaign. This renewed focus on recycling aims to educate solid waste customers on exactly what is and what is not recycling. The goal is to help mitigate residents' unintentional contamination of recycling materials in city recycling bins. Earlier this month, the program was recognized with an Award of Excellence from 3CMA, the City County Communications and Marketing Association. This accomplishment embodies the strategic direction of efficiency. Clearwater Gas System has done a great job expanding its gas system and customer base to make gas service accessible to residents in the gas service area. The department added 1,700 residential and commercial customers, which is an increase of 7% from last year. The department added more than 35 miles of gas pipelines, surpassing 1,000 miles of mains, and serving 26,000 gas customers. The expansion of the city's gas system ties into the strategic direction of efficiency. Engaging with Clearwater's Hispanic community remains a high priority. The Clearwater Public Library System offered nearly 200 specialized programs for Clearwater's Hispanic community, including English as a second language, tutoring and language practice sessions, technology classes, book groups, holiday celebrations, and citizenship classes that serve more than 1,300 residents. Other departments that employ Hispanic liaisons on their staff include the Clearwater Police Department and Public Communications Department. Seen in this photo is a Hispanic liaison who was shopping for those less fortunate last holiday season. The city's Hispanic liaison and outreach programs embodies the strategic direction of foster community engagement. Parks and Recreation celebrated the completion of the Morningside Recreation Center. This facility is 20,998 square feet, and it houses a gymnasium, fitness center, multipurpose rooms, and pools. The $5.6 million facility was paid for mostly through Penny for Pinellas. This facility promotes the strategic direction of quality. This year, the city joined Nextdoor, a hyperlocal social media platform to communicate with residents at large and in specific neighborhoods. Since the city joined the platform, Nextdoor users increased in Clearwater neighborhoods from more than 10,600 users to more than 20,800 verified residents. This tool has had a positive impact on communicating with Clearwater residents. This program showcases the city's strategic direction of develop and promote our brand. The Utility Customer Service Department increased access to its paperless billing program this year. The number of customers who receive paperless billing went from 5,500 last year to 20,000 users this year. That's a huge accomplishment, one that promotes the city's strategic direction of efficiency. Safety remains Clearwater's highest priority. The Clearwater Police Department keeps our residents safe each day. This year, the police department saw significant drops in several categories of crime. Through partnership with the community to prevent and address crime-related issues, the department achieved a 32% reduction in burglary offenses, 31% reduction in stolen vehicle offenses, and 13.5% reduction in robbery offenses. These statistics are based on fiscal year to date. This accomplishment embodies the strategic direction of safety. Another fine example of multi-departmental collaboration, the city's engineering department and public utilities completed the installation of 2 utility lines that run under the intercoastal waterway between Clearwater Beach and the mainland. The lines are not currently in use and are ready and available in the event waterline failures for drinking water, sewer, or reclaimed water to Clearwater Beach. These lines are in addition to existing service lines and offer a proactive strategy to ensure the reliability of the water system. This program reflects the strategic direction of efficiency. So those are the accomplishments for fiscal year 2018-2019. So what's next for fiscal year 2019-2020? The city has mapped out its goals and objectives for 2020. The city's highest priorities remain public safety and the implementation of the Bluff Revitalization Master Plan, which will be known going forward as Coachman Commons. Other priorities for the next fiscal year include the upcoming election in March 2020, a new city council, the North Marina redevelopment plan, and improvements to Crest Lake Park, the city's partnership with the Philadelphia Phillies, and also sustainability will be focal points in 2020. And of course, the city will continue to focus on providing high-quality core municipal services that our residents have come to expect every day. So I'd like to take this opportunity again to thank you, to thank Mayor Creticus, the City Council, and our wonderful residents for all of your support in the last year. We've accomplished a lot in this fiscal year, and your support helped make a lot of what we do very possible. I also would like to thank our employees for their dedication and hard work every day to take care of what needs to be done in our beautiful city. At this time, I'd like to take any questions that you may have.
Any questions of the city manager? You skipped over a word up there on the utilities thing. Go back a couple of slides.
Yeah, I was learning how to pronounce that myself.
On utilities.
Yeah. Well, why don't you just...
This one?
Yeah. What word did you skip over?
Subaqueous?
Yeah.
That wasn't in my script.
Oh,
Someone was helping me.
But we're really proud of, I'm glad you,
Yeah.
we're really proud of that, because one of the things that we often do in local government is react to things instead of being proactive. But having those lines installed really helps us out if we have failures in our existing infrastructure, and we know the impact that's going to have on those living on Clearwater Beach, out on the States, and Sand Key. So we're very fortunate to be able to do that.
and we've done that in other areas too, Mr. Horn. I want you to read, since council didn't have any questions, I want you to read your very last paragraph again, because I think that summarizes how we as a council feel toward the work that our employees do every day.
We've accomplished a lot in this fiscal year, and your support helped make a lot of what we do possible. I'd like to thank our employees for their dedication and hard work every day to take care of what needs to be done in our beautiful city.
Yes, sir.
That's what you wanted to hear.
Right, yes, sir.
All right.
Yeah, because hats off, from all of us to you and our employees. None of this would happen if it wasn't for the work that they do 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I know our residents join me in thanking you and the entire staff for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Now, in fairness, I said no audible noises, when we get to the business portion. So thank you all very much for understanding. Are there any addition or corrections to the minutes of September the 5th?
Move to approve. Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the minutes of September the 5th. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Anybody from the public wishing to speak to an item that is not on the agenda? If so, please come forward at this time. Make sure that a card has been filled out with the clerk. You will have 3 minutes to speak, and we only ask that you give us your name.
Okay. My name is Lance Dyer, and I'll give this. I'm from Anniston, Alabama. I've had the privilege today of seeing your wonderful city for the very first time, and let me say, it's fantastic. I stepped in front of you today not as a concerned citizen, but more as a concerned father and grandfather. Recently, a member of my family has extended family here, visits 5 or 6 times a year, and they were handed, there's a handout she's giving out. They were given on your beach this. It's a sample bag of kratom. Not a lot to it. There's only a few pills in it. It was given to a 13-year-old girl by a representative of one of the head shops here in town. I've been fighting synthetic drugs and kratom, Tiana, teneptanine for the past 7.5 years after the loss of my 14-year-old son due to a one-time use of it. Clearwater, Florida has been on our agenda, but it was not to come up until December, January, February of this coming year. We have looked at different cities in the Gulf. We've asked for bans and we got them. Sarasota, state of Alabama made it a Schedule 1. We've had 46 cities and counties in Mississippi. With Texas being a biannual type government, they only meet twice a year. We will be addressing them next year. What we're trying to do is take out the major cities or educate the major cities along the Gulf Coast for importation reasons, where it comes into the country from there. It seems like not only has it come into the country, but it's come in full force here. I've presented you with a basic information, a study from Emory University, what Colorado, Sarasota, and San Diego did to ban it in their communities. I ask that you entertain that. I didn't come 600 miles last night to come in here, stomp my feet, and tell you this is what you need to do because someone else did it. I ask you to look at this, review it, see if it applies to your citizenry. I heard you say something a while ago that said being proactive is a good thing. We have seen hospitalizations and deaths across the country due to kratom. They've said the number is 44, the actual number is 156, with 91 of them being directly involving kratom, and that's according to the Center for Disease Control out of Atlanta. Fortunately, you've only had hospitalizations here. I spent today at your rehab facilities, drug rehab facilities, talking to some of the people. You have a 23 to 25% rate of kratom-involved or kratom-related people in your rehab facilities. One organization said it was up to 34%, which I consider a little high. But this is happening, and it's happening here. I want to present the information to you so you can make a partially informed decision if you choose to ban it or do something with it. If you do, gentlemen, be advised. You will come under fire. The American Kratom Association, the Botanical Educational Alliance will attack you on all fronts. They will slam your emails. They will hand out your personal cell phone numbers, and don't ask me how they get them, but they do. They will place you under attack if you choose to ban their product.
Thank you, sir.
I thank you for your time today.
Appreciate your making the trip, and I know that staff will take a look at this and report
Thank you
back
so
to
much,
us.
sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else from the public wishing to speak to an item that is not on the agenda?
I'd like to give kudos to Mayor Kritikos for urging his fellow city council members.
State your name.
Ma'am,
Rita Lynch.
if it's on the agenda, you have to wait until that.
Is it on the agenda?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I beg your pardon.
Yeah.
I'll come back.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, my name is Shannon O'Leary Beck, and first of all, I want to, as a muralist, applaud the city for the downtown mural project, the Spanish outreach program, and especially tackling the contentious topic of gun control tonight. However, I'm here to talk about Crest Lake Park and what is happening right now while we speak due to ill-made and ill-prepared plans that the city of Clearwater has chosen to do there. They are ruining a beautiful green space with a tree canopy of oaks, wildlife that include endangered sandhill cranes, ibis, Canadian geese, great blue herons, egrets, pink spoonbills, turtles and ducks that have been there for everyone and anyone to come and enjoy as a shady green space to get away from the urban stress. As we speak, the city is in the process of cutting down over 150 trees, mostly giant oaks, under the guise that they are dangerous and diseased, while the reality, at least half of them are healthy, and the majority of the ones that have been already chopped, any independent arborist without an agenda can tell you were completely healthy and only needed maintenance and pruning. The city's ill-conceived plans in so many regards. Number one, the boat launch. Despite the fact that Swift Mud has designated this lake as a detention pond due to its runoff of residential chemicals and that it's recommended for safety reasons to not swim or boat there, the city is still planning on building a launch, including parking. There's also planning on putting in volleyball courts, which means cutting down trees to make room for a giant sandbox, which nobody's going to use because it will be too hot. 3, the city plans to put in a splash pad which has to be chlorinated. They have not thought through how this is going to be drained and how the chlorine runoff is going to get into the lake. 4, this requires a shower for legal reasons, and the city has not addressed the issue of how to keep the homeless from using that or the bathrooms or sleeping in the 2 big pavilions they plan on erecting, other than lots of cameras and cops. 5, they have not addressed the issue of how the trees, old and new, are going to get water and nourishment after they pour a 10-foot wide concrete walkway through what is now a grassy tree area. 6, they haven't addressed how they are going to protect the wildlife when they have to put drainage in and dredge and pile drive for the boardwalk they're building over the lake. The city is getting over $5 million from BP, which is meant to be used for natural environmental enhancement, not destruction. And the most egregious thing of all is that right now, with all the information we have about climate change and how planting trees is one of the best way we can slow it down, the city is determined to destroy these 40 and 50-year-old huge oaks, many of which just need TLC. And I invite you to go there today or tomorrow to see for yourself what they are doing to our environment. Thank you.
Anybody else from the public wishing to speak?
Hi, my name is Kathy Flaherty. I'm here to speak about Crest Lake Parks also. I'm speaking out tonight against the installation and promotion of water activities on Crest Lake and the installation of the splash pad. First, in regard to the installation of the boat dock and promotion to have kayaking, canoeing, and fishing on the lake is stormwater fed, which means rainwater and irrigation water coming from surrounding streets and lawns run into that lake. There also includes any runoff in the nearby dog walking area. The water runs into the lake, and then the pollutants settle to the bottom of the lake, and then the water filters down to the ground system. That's what Crest Lake does. It's a filtering system, so it's all pollution that goes in there. And then once it gets high enough, it runs off and down to the stormwater. So it's a filtering system. All right, the Swift Mud on their website frequently asks questions. If you say, is it okay to use stormwater ponds for recreational purposes such as fishing, swimming, kayaking, or stand-up paddleboarding? Answer, recreational use of stormwater ponds is potentially hazardous to your health and is not recommended. Stormwater ponds are designed to capture and retain stormwater runoff, which may contain many different types of pollution, including sediments, oils, greases, trash, nutrients, heavy metals, pesticides, herbicides, and pathogens. The Florida Department of Health and CDC also say that you should avoid activity in warm freshwater due to an amoeba. It's called Naegleria fowler, that goes up your nose from just getting water splashed on you and goes into your spinal cord and causes death. So that's a freshwater amoeba that's in all hot freshwater in Florida. We are tropical, so when you see a lake, it's not a lake, it's a stormwater system. This also does not include the parasites that could be in the water from the wildlife and fecal matter from the wild birds that come in there. You've got geese, you've got Muskogee ducks, you've got a lot of birds. All of these can cause illnesses to humans and animals. Several months ago, I found 6 wild water birds of different breeds dead floating in the water, no apparent injuries. I contacted the city and asked to have the water tested. The Parks and Recreation refused. They said there was no indication to test the water at that time. So I don't know if the water's ever been tested, but since you guys are actively approving kayaking, canoeing, where you are going to get splashed, I'm an active kayaker. I was a U.S. Coast Guard captain for 10 years. I was a raft guide also, so I know about water. No one would ever want to have Crest Lake Park as a kayak destination. I would not put a kayak on my car and drive to Crest Lake. You have the intercoastal, you've got Caladesi Island, you've got Wheaton, you've got so many places to kayak. I mean, kayaking on Crest Lake makes no sense. So the questions are, has the water done any testing? If so, what are the results? Are you going to regularly test the water? Are you going to post notices so the public knows that the potential hazards that are in the water? Has the city attorney and the city's insurance agent looked at the liability the city is exposing itself to?
Thank you, ma'am. Your time is up.
Okay.
Anybody else from the public wishing to speak to an item not on the agenda? Have you filled out a card, sir?
I did, Mr. Criticos.
Would you turn it in, please? Thank you, sir.
Well, now for something a little bit different. I recently had a evening out in Dunedin. It was very enjoyable. Took a walk through the park, down to the marina, and back. It was actually delightful. So perhaps that's why they call it Delightful Dunedin. And I would recommend that over definitely over anything that's going on in downtown Clearwater, which is very little. I'm not a homeless advocate in any way, shape, or form. I've stepped over them from Times Square to Michigan Avenue to Ghirardelli Square and many times in the French Quarter. So after my delightful evening in Dunedin, I looped through downtown Clearwater on my way home. And after we started counted 21 people who appeared to be homeless. And 5 bus drivers, in their get-ups, and you know what I'm talking about. And as far as I'm concerned, that's an improvement. I honestly do not understand, especially given Mr. Albritton and Mr. Polglaze's very close association with whatever downtown Clearwater partnership is. If you look at it, there hasn't been very much happen for a long time. Us spending money on downtown Clearwater to absolutely benefit no one other than, the main stakeholder, as you people call them. It's just asinine. There's an experienced Clearwater, the community redevelopment agency, which has been mentioned already tonight. It's too much of city money going to the wrong place. It's just wrong. There's nothing going on down there. And again, I would recommend anybody just go to Dunedin if they want to have a nice evening out. And if you want to see a stark difference to what's going on up there, drive through downtown Clearwater. Drive up past the places that Mr. Polglaze, holds up as shining examples of progress that are not open. It's insane. And then we're coming up with this Salty Bull Brewing Company. I'll bet anybody $1 right now that place will not be open in a year from tonight. It's not going to happen. And if it does, when it closes down, you can use it as a homeless shelter.
Thank you, sir. Your time is up. Anybody else from the public wishing to speak to an item not on the agenda?
He forgot his dollar.
Hi, my name's Lisa Lanza, and on the positive, definitely there's some great things happening in downtown. I just went by tonight and I see everybody sitting outside dining, so there's definitely some good things happening downtown. But like the gentleman, I do not agree that we need to, whatever this plan is with the fire and the light show and the Japanese pagoda and the 4,000 covered seat amphitheater. I just think it's a potential boondoggle. It's not what the residents ever wanted. It's not what the stakeholder committee said that they wanted. And then to think that you will somehow or another convince the citizens to vote to change the city charter so that you can take the downtown library parking lot and build a boutique hotel on it, or a condo, or I don't know what you plan on building there, but I know, you're kind of not talking about that, but you're going ahead with the these requests for proposals. We haven't voted on whether we're going to agree to let you lease for development the downtown parking lot, the city hall, and the property adjacent to it that we spent $4 million or $4.5 million for. And also, I wanted to say that we never voted on it at the Clearwater Neighborhood Coalition. The chairman or the president of the coalition, not the coalition, Clearwater Neighborhoods Coalition, yeah. She has been quoted in the newspaper as well as at the public board, insinuating that we supported it. We had a presentation. We were not able to ask questions. It was at the last part of the meeting. We never asked questions. We never voted on it. So she's definitely not representing us with her opinion that, it's what the citizens wanted, because it's not what the stakeholder committee wanted. Thank you.
Anybody else from the public wishing to speak to an item not on the agenda? Okay, I will close public comment and move on to the consent agenda, items 7.1 through 7.17. Anybody from the public or council wanting to pull an item off the consent agenda? Council, I'm going to pull agenda item 7.2 off, only because we had received a letter that I want to make sure gets put as part of the record from the CWA officials, and make sure that that becomes part of the record. So the motion would be for 7.1, this is for 7.3 through 7.17.
So, Mr. Mayor, I would make a motion to approve consent agenda item 7.1 and agenda item 7.3 through 7.17.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the consent agenda items 7.1 and 7.3 through 7.17. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Mr. Horn, agenda item 7.2.
Approve the amendment to the collective bargaining agreement as negotiated between the City of Clearwater and Communication Workers of America, Local 3179, for fiscal year 2019-2020, and authorize the appropriate officials to execute same. Ms. Poirier.
Good evening. The current collective bargaining agreement between the City of Clearwater and the Communication Workers of America expires on September 30th of 2020. This amendment is to implement the proposal that was created by the Public Sector Personal Consultants, PSPC, that was presented and approved by Council on May 14th of 2019. This updates our job classifications, our job descriptions, our pay range tables, provides a one-time compression adjustment, and also creates only a 40-hour work week for all classifications. The parties have reached a tentative agreement for the amendment to this contract. There was an outstanding support in terms of voter turnout on the CWA agreement, and it was approved at 95%. We are asking that you please adopt the amendment to the contract to go into effect for the pay period including October 1st.
Any questions of staff on agenda item 7.2? Ms. Call, do you want me to read this? The letter, Council, as y'all know, because copies were sent to y'all late this afternoon, was from President Ron Rice. Neither he nor the Vice President of the union, Mike Head, could be here this evening because of other commitments, but they wanted to know, they wanted us to know that they appreciated the work that we did, that the work that the councils, that the city staff had did, and extended their appreciation both to the manager, his staff, the human resources director, and her staff, and all of us. So with that, I think, Ms. Call, you have a copy of it. We'll give you this copy to include in the record. Anybody from the public to speak to agenda item 7.2? Motion?
Move approval of agenda item 7.2.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve agenda item 7.2. Comments, council? Again, thank you to everybody for the work on that.
Thank you.
Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Agenda item 8.1, second reading, Ms.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Kayleen Castle, Budget Manager. This item is for the second and final reading of the millage ordinance to adopt a millage rate of 5.9550 mils to support the operating and capital improvement budgets for fiscal year 2019-20. This rate is the same as the current year.
You can do a little presentation, or we?
That's it.
That's it? Okay. Any questions of staff on agenda item 8.1? Anybody from the public to speak to agenda item 8.1?
I would move approval of agenda item 8.1. Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve agenda item 8.1, which we really didn't need to do because we're just
No,
reading
it's
the
the second
second
reading
reading. Yeah. Ms. Aiken.
Millage ordinance, ordinance number 9322-19, an ordinance of the City of Clearwater, Florida, declaring the millage rate to be levied for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2019, and ending September 30th, 2020, for operating purposes including funding of pensions, debt service, road maintenance, for capital improvements expenditures at 5.9550 mils, providing an effective date. The levy of 5.9550 mils constitutes a 6.01% increase from the rolled back rate of 5.6176 mils. Whereas the estimated revenue to be received by the city for fiscal year beginning October 1, 2019 and ending September 30th, 2020 from ad valorem taxes is $68,158,710. And whereas based on the taxable value provided by Pinellas County Property Appraiser, 5.9550 mils are necessary to generate $68,158,710. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Clearwater, Florida, Section 1, it is hereby determined that a tax of 5.9550 mils against the non-exempt real and personal property within the city is necessary to raise the sums appropriated for operation purposes, including pensions, debt service, and road capital improvement projects for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2019. Section 2, the levy of 5.9550 mils constitutes a 6.01% increase from the rolled back rate. Section 3, this ordinance shall take effect October 1, 2019.
I move that we adopt ordinance 9322-19 on second reading.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to adopt ordinance 9322-19 on second reading. Comments, council? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Agenda item 8.2.
This is for the second and final reading of the ordinance to adopt the operating budget for fiscal year 2019-20.
Ms. Call.
Ordinance number 9323-19, an ordinance of the City of Clearwater, Florida, adopting an operating budget for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2019, and ending October 30, 2020, authorizing the city manager to issue such instructions that are necessary to achieve and accomplish the service program so authorized, authorizing the city manager to transfer monies and programs among the departments and activities within any fund as provided by Chapter 2 of the Clearwater Code of Ordinances, providing an effective date.
I move to adopt ordinance 9323-19 on second reading.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to adopt ordinance 9323-19 on second reading. Anybody from the public to speak to this motion? Comments, council? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Agenda item 8.3.
This is for the second and final reading of the ordinance to adopt the capital improvement budget for fiscal year 2019-20.
Ms. Aiken.
Ordinance number 9324-19, an ordinance of the City of Clearwater, Florida, adopting the capital improvement program budget for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2019, and ending September 30th, 2020, approving the 6-year capital improvement program, which shall be reevaluated at the beginning of each fiscal year, authorizing the city manager to issue such instructions that are necessary to achieve and accomplish the capital improvements so authorized, authorizing the city manager to transfer money between projects in the capital improvement program, appropriating available and anticipated resources for the projects identified, providing an effective date.
I would move that we adopt ordinance 9324-19 on second reading.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to adopt ordinance 9324-19 on second reading. Anybody from the public to speak to this motion? Comments, council? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oh, wait, we have is this the one that has? No, it's the next one. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Agenda item 8.4.
Approve the annexation, initial future land use map designation of residential low and initial zoning atlas designation of low medium density residential district for 1819 Audubon Street and 1015 Woodside Avenue, and pass ordinance numbers 9298-19, 9299-19, and 9300-19 on first reading.
Good evening, Lauren Matzke, Planning and Development. This item is for the voluntary annexation of a single-family home located at 1819 Audubon Street. The owner of this property is requesting annexation to connect to city sewer and to receive city solid waste services. The owner of the second property, 1015 Woodside Avenue, included in the original package and ordinances, withdrew his request to annex late last week. Staff has prepared motions to amend for the 3 ordinances associated with this agenda item. In addition to removing reference to the Woodside Avenue property, staff is recommending adding the annexation of a 3-foot wide strip of right-of-way on Audubon Street, which has not already been annexed. This has been incorporated into the motion to amend for your consideration as well. The Development Review Committee reviewed the item and is recommending approval.
Any questions of staff on agenda item 8.4? Anybody from the public to speak to agenda item 8.4?
Good
Have you
evening.
filled out a card with,
No, I'm sorry, I did not.
okay. Go ahead and then, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Good evening. My name is Sharon Barnett, and I am currently a student at St. Petersburg College in the Public Administration program. I'm here to speak to you regarding this annexation as part of one of my class assignments. I've had the opportunity to speak with the planning individual that was assigned to this, which was Mr. Diego Guevara. And I have got to tell you, Mr. Guevara was very helpful in providing me information with regards to the process to include the application, the review of the neighborhood for services already there, and if there was an availability to tie into the city services. He then proceeded to help me to understand the process further with taking me over to the engineering department, and there I got to speak with Kaylin Price. She's an engineering specialist in your engineering department. She had the opportunity to show me the maps and to show me how there's the taken into consideration the distance and the possibility of a tie-in to the city, or whether there was going to be a need for personal lines. Those two employees there, they were very helpful and very happy to help me and to help me to understand the process. While I understand that this is a process that's been requested by the stakeholder, the property owner here, they're also the ones that are going to be responsible for the installation and the tie-in to the city, and it's a cost benefit to them. I believe that with that being said, that I'm in favor of the annexation and that it ties into the city of Clearwater, and I thank you all for your time.
Thank you very much. Good luck with your studies.
Thank you so much.
Anybody else from the public wishing to speak to agenda item 8.4?
Move approval of agenda item 8.4.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve agenda item 8.4. Comments, council? All in favor?
Sorry, just one quick one. Tell Professor Crunchnavel we said hello.
I sure will. Thank you so much.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Ms. Call.
I'm going to first read the ordinance as advertised and then the motion to amend for that ordinance, and then we'll approve as amended. Okay, so ordinance number 9298-19, an ordinance of the City of Clearwater, Florida, annexing certain real properties located generally north of Lakeview Road, south of Druid Road, east of South Duncan Avenue, west of South Hercules Avenue, whose post office addresses are 1819 Audubon Street, Clearwater, Florida, 33764, and 1015 Woodside Avenue, Clearwater, Florida, 33756, into the corporate limits of the city and redefining boundary lines of the city to include said additions, providing an effective date.
Okay, I'll do it. Move to pass ordinance 9298-19
On first reading.
on first reading.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve ordinance 9298-19 on first reading. Is there an amendment to be offered?
Yes.
Motion to amend.
Mr. Hamilton has made a motion to amend, and Mr. Albritton has seconded to strike real properties to make it property. In the second line, to change post office addresses to post office address is 1819 Audubon, and strike 1015 Woodside Avenue, Clearwater, Florida, and insert together with a certain portion of Audubon Street right-of-way.
That's exactly what I said.
Right? Any questions on the motion to amend? Anybody from the public to speak to the motion to amend? Motion has been made and seconded to amend ordinance 9298-19 by striking the 1015 Woodside Avenue property. All in favor, comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Now the vote is going to be on to approve ordinance 9298-19 29-19 as amended on first reading.
Mayor, there was a second amendment included in that, which is to amend Exhibit A. So not only is the title amended, there's additional amendments within that.
Okay? That was,
So-
so we need a second motion. Right.
We could have done it on one, but
I thought I had put that in my motion.
But I did when I repeated.
You didn't read it when I took all
Yeah,
of what I said.
I apologize for that.
I think the mayor meant to say as presented by staff or as presented by staff, because it is in the agenda pack.
Okay,
the
so it's all
motion
right
to
just to
amend.
go ahead.
it is in the motion, but,
Go ahead and read it anyway, just so that we're
okay.
not.
So the other amendments were to change the whereas clause to property, as you had mentioned in the title, and has, instead of have. And then it also is an amendment to amend Exhibit A to remove the legal description for 1015 Woodside Avenue and add a legal description for a portion of the right-of-way to be annexed. And then it
And I
describes
apologize,
that
counsel, I didn't highlight that portion, so I missed the.
Are we
Thank
good,
you.
or we need that?
Are we good, or should we do another motion?
Wait, I think Lauren.
Just to be certain, then the Exhibit B, the map, is
Yeah, I
also
was gonna say,
replaced.
yeah, there is, the motion to amend continues to replace Exhibit
Yes.
B with an amendment Exhibit B.
Okay, so let's just do a second motion to amend the amended motion as presented here.
By staff.
Okay, seconded by Mr.
Oglaze.
Oglaze. Anybody from the public, and we apologize, it was my mistake in that I didn't read the whole sheet here, and I'll correct it the next time around. All in favor of the second motion to amend, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Now the vote is on the ordinance 9298-19 as amended and amended. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Ms. Aiken, you want to go to 9299 now?
Yes, sir. Ordinance number 9299-19, an ordinance of the City of Clearwater, Florida, amending the future land use element of the comprehensive plan of the city to designate the land use for certain real properties located generally north of Lakeview Road, south of Druid Road, east of South Duncan Avenue, west of South Hercules Avenue, whose post office addresses are 1819 Audubon Street, Clearwater, Florida 33764, and 1015 Woodside Avenue, Clearwater, Florida 33765, upon annexation into the City of Clearwater as residential low RL, providing an effective date.
Motion to pass ordinance 9299-19 on first reading.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to pass ordinance 9299-19 on first reading. Anybody from the public to speak to this motion? Comments, council? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carry. No.
You have to
no.
amend it
We
now.
also need an
No,
amendment.
let's not vote.
Let's not
Let's not vote. Let's strike that vote. I apologize, I'm getting
I will
myself
make a
confused.
motion to amend
As presented.
as presented
By staff.
Right.
by staff.
With all
Second.
adjoining, with all
All
exhibits.
adjoining
And basically what the motion to amend is again, just to strike the 1015 Woodside Avenue to correct the grammar so that it's not in plural but in singular, and to take it out of the map. Anybody from the public to speak to the motion to amend? Motion has been made and seconded to amend ordinance 9299-19. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Now the vote is to approve motion, ordinance 9299-19 as amended on first reading.
So moved.
Any comments, council? All in favor say aye.
I will make the motion to approve as amended.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Agenda no, and we have one more.
One more of these.
Don't do this to me.
Well, you guys are doing it so well,
Yes, we do.
very smoothly.
I was just going to say.
Ordinance
nice
number
things about you.
9300-19, an ordinance of the City of Clearwater, Florida, amending the zoning atlas of the city by zoning certain real properties located generally north of Lakeview Road, south of Druid Road, east of South Duncan Avenue, west of South Hercules Avenue, whose post office addresses are 1819 Audubon Street, Clearwater, Florida, 33764, and 1015 Woodside Avenue, Clearwater, Florida, 33756, upon annexation to the City of Clearwater's low, medium-density residential LMDR, providing an effective date.
Move to approve ordinance 9300-19 on first reading.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to pass ordinance 9300-19 on first reading. Anybody from the public to speak to this motion? Any comments, council?
Motion to amend ordinance 9300-19 to read as submitted to us by staff.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to amend ordinance 9300-19, again by striking the 1015 Woodside Avenue address, fixing the grammar and the English, and taking it out of the map, changing the map. Any other comments, council? Motion has been made and seconded to amend ordinance 9300-19. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Now we will vote on the motion to pass ordinance 9300-19 as amended on first reading. The motion has been made and seconded. Any other comments, council? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Agenda item 8.5.
Approve the annexation, initial future land use map designation of residential low, RL, and initial zoning atlas designation of low medium density residential, LMDR district, for 712 Moss Avenue and 3047 Lake Vista Drive, and pass ordinances 9301-19, 9302-19, and 9303-19 on first reading. Ms. Massey.
He made the motion before you amended it.
Good evening, Lauren Matzke. This item proposes to annex two properties that are subject to agreements to annex. The properties are located in the Cape Hawk Terrace neighborhood and are addressed 712 Moss Avenue and 3047 Lake Vista Drive. Both parcels are occupied by single-family homes, and the properties recently became contiguous to existing city limits and therefore were eligible for annexation. The properties already receive sanitary sewer service and water from the city, and one is already using our solid waste service as well. The Development Review Committee reviewed this item and is recommending approval.
Any questions of staff on agenda item 8.5? Anybody from the public to speak to agenda item 8.5?
Move approval of agenda item 8.5.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve agenda item 8.5. Comments, council? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Ms. Aiken.
Ordinance number 9301-19, an ordinance of the City of Clearwater, Florida, annexing certain real properties located generally north of Drew Street, south of State Road 590, and within 1/4 mile west of North McMullen Booth Road. Whose post office addresses are 712 Moss Avenue and 3047 Lake Vista Drive, all within Clearwater, Florida, 33759, into the corporate limits of the city and redefining the boundary lines of the city to include said additions, providing an effective date.
I move that we pass ordinance 9301-19 on first reading.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to pass ordinance 9301-19 on first reading. Comments, council?
No.
No amendments? Ms. Matzke, where are you? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Ms. Call.
Ordinance number 9302-19, an ordinance of the City of Clearwater, Florida, amending the future land use elements of the comprehensive plan of this city to designate the land use for certain real properties located generally north of Drew Street, south of State Road 590, and within 1/4 mile west of North McMullen Booth Road, whose post office addresses are 712 Moss Avenue and 3047 Lake Vista Drive, all within Clearwater, Florida, 33759, upon annexation to the City of Clearwater's residential low RL, providing an effective date.
I move to pass ordinance 9302-19 on first reading.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to pass ordinance 9302-19 on first reading. Comments, council? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Ms. Aiken.
Ordinance number 9303-19, an ordinance of the City of Clearwater, Florida, amending the zoning atlas of the city by zoning certain real properties located generally north of Drew Street, south of State Road 590, and within 1/4 mile west of North McMillan Booth Road, whose post office addresses are 712 Moss Avenue, 3047 Lake Vista Drive, all within Clearwater, Florida 33759, upon annexation into the City of Clearwater as low-medium density residential, LMDR, providing an effective date.
I move that we pass ordinance 9303-19 on first reading.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to pass ordinance 9303-19 on first reading. Comments, council? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Agenda item 8.6, Mr. Horn.
Approve the First Amendment to an existing hotel development agreement between Decade Sea Captain LLC and the City of Clearwater for property located at 40 Devon Drive, which replaces Exhibit A to provide an updated legal description and replaces Exhibit B to provide new conceptual site plans and elevations, reduce the overall height of the proposed hotel building, add a detached dwelling to the portion of the property within the low-medium density residential district, adopt Resolution 19-18, and authorize the appropriate officials to execute same.
Good afternoon. Ellen Crandall, Planning Development. The item before you is the First Amendment to an existing hotel development agreement to provide an update in the conceptual site plan, building elevations, and legal description. The subject property is a single parcel with 2 zoning designations, tourist and low-medium density residential. The applicant continues to propose the approved 98-unit hotel on the tourist portion, and with this amendment proposes to include a detached dwelling on the low-medium density residential portion. No changes have been made to the conceptual site plan presented at the September 5th, 2019 council meeting. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of staff on agenda item 8.6? Anybody from the public to speak to agenda item 8.6?
Move approval of agenda item 8.6.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve agenda item 8.6. Comments, council? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Ms. Aiken?
I'll take it. Resolution number 19-18, a resolution of the City of Clearwater, Florida, amending a development agreement between the City of Clearwater and Decade Sea Captain LLC, providing an effective date.
I move that we adopt resolution 19-18.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to adopt resolution 19-18. Comments, council? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Agenda item 9.1, Mr. Horn.
Amend the city's fiscal year 2018-2019 operating and capital improvement budgets at third quarter and pass ordinances 9325-19 and 9326-19 on first reading. Ms. Castle.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Kayleen Castle, Budget Manager. This is the third quarter and final review of the fiscal year 2018-19 budget. I went over the report with you on Monday, but I'd be happy to answer any additional questions that you have.
Council, do you have any questions on agenda item 9.1?
No.
Anybody from the public to speak to agenda item 9.1?
Move to approve agenda item 9.1.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve agenda item 9.1. Comments, council? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Ms. Call.
Ordinance number 9325-19, an ordinance of the City of Clearwater, Florida, amending the operating budget for the fiscal year ending September 30, 2019 to reflect increases and decreases in revenues and expenditures for the general fund, special development fund, special program fund, gas fund, marine fund, air park fund, and parking fund as provided here and providing an effective date.
I move to pass ordinance 9325-19 on first reading.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to pass ordinance 9325-19 on first reading. Comments, council? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Ms. Aiken.
Ordinance number 9326-19, an ordinance of the City of Clearwater, Florida, amending the capital improvement budget for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2019, to reflect a net increase of $1,068,967, providing an effective date.
Move to pass ordinance 9326-19 on first reading.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to pass ordinance 9326-19 on first reading. Comments, council? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Agenda item 9.2, Mr. Horn.
Authorize award of request for proposals number 40-19, Tourism Marketing Services to Bandwagon LLC for destination marketing in the annual amount of $200,000 for the initial two-term, $400,000 and $200,000 per year for one 2-year renewal option for a total of $800,000, and authorize the appropriate officials to execute same. Ms. Sanderson.
Thank you. Denise Sanderson, Economic Development and Housing Director. As discussed on Monday, the item before you is a request for authorization to award RFP number 40-19 to Bandwagon LLC. Since Monday's work session, however, we've clarified the request is an authorization for a 2-year contract with one 2-year renewal in an amount of $200,000 annually for a maximum amount of $800,000 should we execute this provision to renew. This is not a change to the contract in that regard whatsoever. It's just a clarifying statement. Additionally, we've clarified within the contract, specifically Section 3, that you're providing me the authority to make revisions to the scope of work as needs change and opportunities arrive throughout that 4-year period on an annual basis, or should we decide not to move forward with, for instance, the James Beard event in New York City, if that doesn't come to fruition, we'll renegotiate that portion of the scope. So I wish to apologize for any confusion these late revisions and clarifications may be causing. And at this time, I'd like to introduce Corey Cart. He's our Chief Client Officer with Bandwagon, who will give a very brief overview of the scope of work his firm will be providing in fiscal year 19-20, after which I'll be happy to take any questions on those clarifications I mentioned.
Good evening, and it's great to see many of the same familiar faces again. Just a few brief statements, and kind of building off of your annual report, we identified 3 trends that we thought were very important for Clearwater moving forward that we brought about during the proposal process. And the number one trend that we're seeing nationally is sustainability and ecotourism. And what that means from the data we're seeing is when people are faced with a decision between 2 or 3 destinations, they are making the choice to choose to one that has the most sustainable practices, both as far as lessening the impact of tourism and just as a community. So we're very excited with everything that's going on citywide, including the efforts of Ocean Allies. When you take into account the mission of entities such as the aquarium, it really gives us a great foundation to build on that with journalists and promoting that to various visitors. Another huge trend right now in travel is accessibility, and so that's something that we really want to be able to promote as far as having the ability to utilize and rent beach wheelchairs with changes that have been made at recent events so that people with accessibility needs can be able to attend those events. So we're definitely going to be building on that. And then the final one is the new industry buzzword, and I usually refrain from using those because I feel like they come and they go, but leisure travel, and that's the blending of business and leisure, and we feel that that's really important for Clearwater because as those events, those corporate retreats, those different things that you're seeing that are filling the hotels, that Monday through Thursday business, and working with those individuals and promoting that extra tack on that family vacation on the end, it's a way for us to help fill the gaps when there are gaps during the week or during slower periods of the year with business travel, but then being able to hold those groups over for extended nights for their family vacation. One of the things that I want to point out, we'll be doing a very in-depth competitive analysis of thousands of keywords. It will be done using digital data sets that we're able to acquire. That will let us know where we're falling short as far as pushing out information that visitors are seeking when compared to your competitive set of other destinations. That will help us, that will dictate like what stories are we pitching to visitors, what online content needs to be developed, what needs to be being talked about on social media and in those aspects. As Denise mentioned, the PR, yes, we'll keep bringing the journalists into market, but we're also working on building strong strategic partnerships, such as with the James Beard Foundation's Fresh Catch program, which again is a mission that they are on to make sure that seafood being served in restaurants is sustainably harvested. And so we'll be working with not only suppliers, but also restaurants in the market to provide that information, and have even talked to the James Beard Foundation about potentially coming here to educate the Clearwater community on how they can participate in that. And the final thing I'll leave you with is new name, same faces in a lot of regards. Many of the people working on your account before will be still working on your account as we've made some professional transitions in our own personal lives. And one of the things that I'm excited about is the ability to bring new technology and a new level of transparency in client communications. So we have a very robust online system that will be managing all of our projects through. At any moment, the Clearwater contract manager can log in, see in real time what this project status is, submit comments, submit revisions, submit change orders, anything that they need to do. And so all of that is kept on record and for them to view 24/7. So we're very excited to get started and look forward to helping hopefully add another year to that #1 beach in the U.S. And keep those accolades rolling. So thank you very much.
We wanted
Sorry,
to come
I thought
back.
only she could answer questions.
No.
Oh man, I'm not going to get off that easy.
No, you're not going to get off that. Mr. Pope, did you have a
Yes,
question?
I did. Thank you, Mayor. This James Beard Conference, it was stated that if it didn't come to fruition, we could renegotiate. Was that going to be in year 1, year 2, or and does that require them coming here for that?
So
could you explain that a little more, please?
Yeah, so the part of the scope of work that includes that, it's not a conference. What we're hoping to do is we will be hosting a chef event in New York City during the New York Times Travel Show. And that gives us a chance to expose all of the journalists from around the world who are in New York for those 3 or 4 days to Clearwater. And we've done this with other clients that had a culinary focus, and so we're going to have groupers, stone crab, the whole 9 yards, to tell that side of the Clearwater story. Our hope is to, by January, have the ability to layer in the sustainability angle of the story, that there are restaurants in Clearwater who are participating in that James Beard program.
Mm-hmm.
So that we can achieve that by January, we've asked that the James Beard program actively participate in helping us educate and recruit those restaurants to participate in that program.
I see.
Yes, sir.
And if it doesn't happen, we would renegotiate?
Within the contract, section 3, it gives me the authority to work with Corey on reallocation of funds or activities, or they simply
Right.
don't receive.
Okay.
the
Well,
amount.
I hope that doesn't happen and this does come to fruition because we got great seafood. and I
This
hope
is
that
this is part of a long-term conversation. Every year we have a chance to meet with them during the Great American Seafood Cook-Off, which is held in New Orleans, where we are primarily based. And so the last 2 years, Clearwater has had a chef represent the state of Florida there. So this has been an ongoing conversation between local restaurant groups and seafood suppliers, and I'm told that there should be no problem helping. And if we get the supplier on board, it's very easy for our local restaurants to
Only one chef representing the entire state of Florida, and he's from Clearwater at this
last 2 years.
event?
Last 2 years.
Does nobody else know about this, or we do this very well?
You do it very well. You do it very well, and because it took 3 years basically to get their Clearwater chef in the first time. It's usually someone from Miami or Key West or somewhere in South Florida, but they performed so well that they received the invitation to go back the next year. And so it's been 2 different chefs, but both of them have been from Clearwater.
And our hope is that we'll be again from Clearwater this year.
Absolutely.
We hope so, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, council? Ms. Sanderson gave me a hard time because I didn't ask her any questions the other day. I said I was just saving them.
I watched the video, so yeah.
Okay. I think it's important and help us out here, because I know you participated in the Ocean Allies launch and were here, when we were working with our chambers. But does it help that our businesses, led this charge as opposed to government coming in? And would that be a benefit as you're making the pitch to the foundation that Mr. Poglace was asking about?
Absolutely, and that discussion was had early on. when we began talking to the James Beard Foundation, and they were very ecstatic to see that. And that's why they're really wanting to focus on the Clearwater area. And I will also say that one of the young ladies in Manhattan who is overseeing this program is from the Clearwater area, which doesn't hurt. So we actually do kind of have a little bit of hometown representation helping us lead this charge. And
Don't give away all the secrets.
I won't give away all the secrets. I didn't know that actually very recently. That was a year into the conversation before they disclosed that. But yes, that is. And that is why I think from a visitor standpoint, it is important to promote that, because we are at a point where visitors want to, they want to experience what the locals experience. I always say people like to live where they like to play. So if we can show that side of how locals are embracing this as a local culture, all the more reason why journalists want to write about that when it comes to sustainability.
Another question I had, and it was triggered by Mr. Horn's chart of things that we're going to be doing, next year, and that was the agreement with the Phillies and how important spring training is, to Clearwater, but not just at spring training, but year round. And I didn't hear you address that at all, and I'm wondering, do you pay any attention to promoting Clearwater in the Philadelphia, Delaware Valley area, and what can we do better to make sure that our brand stays there and that the county is aware of how important it is to us?
Sure. So one of the things that, I'll tell you two things. A, we have just, I think it was this last fiscal year, the agency I was with previously, we hosted the travel journalist, travel editor from the Philadelphia Sun. So there was, I believe, a full-page article in print, and then it was also online, and a lot of that was focused on things that families could do here. Because one of the aspects that we know is travel based around baseball is a lot of father-son type activities, and so we want to make sure that we're carrying that family-friendly message. There are some ideas that we kicked around throughout the proposal phase of working with local hoteliers to put together packages where it includes the tickets for spring training, maybe like a gourmet hot dog cooking class with a chef, different ways that we could incorporate activities that families would want to do. And then the third component of that is I believe it was in August, the small market meeting sales fam that was held here, we actually did reserve a suite. We worked with the team there at the stadium and at the field and reserved a suite. And so we brought in local hoteliers and restaurateurs and different people from the hospitality industry to meet with professional meeting and event planners who are looking to move corporate events and retreats to Clearwater. And so they had a chance to see how they could actually go off-site and host their events during the games, and one of them was actually from the Pennsylvania area looking to move events to the Clearwater region. So that is on our radar. I always listen to your advice, just like with the Orlando thing, we were able to get that in USA Today as kind of the anti-theme park thing, vacation, come here to chill. So definitely baseball's huge, and it's on our radar.
Good, thank you very much.
Yeah, I was told to be brief, so I didn't go into too much.
No, that was fine. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions on 9.2? Anybody from the public to speak to agenda item 9.2?
Hi, my name is Lisa Lanza. I'm just wondering why all these years when we've had Coachman Park sitting basically empty, no very few activities going on there, and I'm talking like over the past 30 years. Instead of putting all this down on the beach and on the boardwalk, which people are going to go to anyway, why haven't we used this money, $400,000, total of $800,000, I don't know, it's a lot of money. Why didn't we use this money to have activities in Coachman Park? Like when the grandkids came down, they wanted to get their hair braided. And it was a big deal, like, oh God, we got to go down to the beach, we got to find parking, and and normally we would never go down at that time, but it was the sunset thing, and here if we had just had something in Coachman Park, and the sunsets in Coachman Park are gorgeous. They really are beautiful. And sometimes I do go down and I do see some people and they're throwing a ball and they're walking their dogs, but we've just way underutilized Coachman Park, and here again, we're putting all this money into the beach. The beach itself doesn't, it's beautiful. People are gonna go there anyway. So, this is all probably redundant, but I just have to say something. I just feel like for 40 years or 30 years, we've missed out on utilizing Coachman Park and having sunset events in Coachman Park. I think it was a missed opportunity, and it's very sad. Thank you.
Anybody else from the public to speak to agenda item 9.2? Ms. Henderson, help me out. Coachman Commons
Yes, sir.
is part of this agreement. This is a marketing agreement for tourism for the entire city.
Yes, the operative word is for tourism. So remember that the objective here is to drive brand awareness, strengthen the brand awareness, and increase heads and beds.
Okay.
That's a big component of that. Largely, we leave drive-by traffic or regional traffic attraction. A lot of that is going through our regional chamber, and we're sort of co-branded now with the partnership that Bandwagon also has with the chamber, so it's a consistent look and feel. But largely managed by the chamber.
We had a motion to approve 9.2.
Motion to approve agenda item 9.2.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve agenda item 9.2. Comments, council? Welcome. Where did it go? Welcome back with your new team. Beat the bandwagon for us. Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Agenda item 9.3.
Ratify and confirm additional expenditures of $176,146 at Moccasin Lake Park. Approve a proposal by construction manager at risk Keystone Excavators, Inc. of Oldsmar, Florida, in the amount of $48,037 for parking lot improvements at Moccasin Lake Park. Approve an increase in the Moccasin Lake Park Master Plan renovations project of $224,183. Approve necessary budget transfers to provide additional project funding and authorize the appropriate officials to execute same. Mr. Dunbar.
Good evening, Kevin Dunbar, Director of Parks and Recreation. As we discussed on Monday, this is a twofold process. One is to clean up some project pieces, and the other one is to do some renovations to the parking area to provide some paved spaces. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for staff on agenda item 9.3? Mr. Hamilton.
I'm gonna, hopefully I'm asking a dumb question, but I asked about is it gonna be asphalt paving versus that? It is gonna be asphalt. My question is now, when it rains on this asphalt, is the drainage going to be contained into a retention area? Because
Yes, sir.
I know there's houses to the east of where this parking is gonna be. I wanna make sure that the runoff isn't gonna encroach onto their property.
And we already have some asphalt spaces there, and we already do exactly that, and this will just be adding to that. And it's all being designed by a civil engineer.
Good enough.
Any other questions? Anybody from the public to speak to agenda item 9.3?
Motion to approve agenda item 9.3.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve agenda item 9.3. Comments, council? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Agenda item 9.4.
Accept a 10-foot by 25-foot water main easement for the property owners for the construction, installation, and maintenance of water main facilities on real property located at 626 North Highland Avenue, and adopt resolution 19-26. Mr. Burzak.
Good evening, Robert Burzak, Real Estate Coordinator. Public Utilities requires a water main easement to be located on the property for the construction, installation, and maintenance of facilities within the easement area. City staff recommends acceptance of the easement. Any questions?
Any questions of staff on 9.4? Anybody from the public to speak to agenda item 9.4?
Move to approve agenda item 9.4.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve agenda item 9.4. Comments, council? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Ms. Aiken.
Resolution number 19-26, a resolution of the City of Clearwater, Florida, accepting a water main easement from, and please forgive me, Uflume A. Okuboye and Dolores L. Okuboye for the construction, installation, and maintenance of city water main facilities, providing an effective date.
I move that we adopt Resolution 19-26.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to adopt Resolution 19-26. Comments, council? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. 9.5, Mr. Horn.
Accept a drainage easement from Woodland Villas Condominium One Association, Inc. for the construction, installation, and maintenance of drainage facilities on real property located at 2465 North Side Drive, and adopt Resolution 19-17. Mr. Burzak again.
The drainage easement grants the city rights to operate and maintain stormwater facilities within the easement area. City staff recommends acceptance of the easement. Questions?
Any questions of staff on 9.5? Anybody from the public to speak to 9.5?
Move to approve agenda item 9.5.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve agenda item 9.5. Comments, council? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Ms. Call.
Resolution number 19-17, and resolution of the City of Clearwater, Florida, accepting a drainage easement from Woodland Villas Condominium One Association Incorporated for the construction, installation, and maintenance of city drainage facilities, providing an effective date.
I move that we adopt Resolution 19-17.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to adopt Resolution 19-17. Comments, council? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Agenda item 9.6.
Approve the request from the property owner to vacate the utility easement lying within the south 5 feet of lots 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, Block D, and the north 5 feet of lots 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14, Block D, Hibiscus Gardens, according to the map or plat thereof, as recorded in Plat Book 14, pages 55 through 59, inclusive of the public records of Pinellas County, Florida, and pass ordinance number 9321-19 on first reading. Mr. Burzak.
The easement vacation will allow the property owner to move forward with developing the site for new townhomes. City stakeholders have reviewed the vacation request and have no objections.
Any questions of staff on 9.6? Anybody from the public to speak to agenda item 9.6?
Move approval of agenda item 9.6.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve agenda item 9.6. Comments, council? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Ms. Aiken.
Ordinance number 9321-19, an ordinance of the City of Clearwater, Florida, vacating utility easement lying within the south 5 feet of lots 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, Block D, and the north 5 feet of lots 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14, Block D, Hibiscus Gardens, according to the map or plat thereof, as recorded in Plat Book 14, pages 55 through 59, inclusive of the public records of Pinellas County, Florida, providing an effective date.
I move that we pass ordinance 9321-19 on first reading.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to pass ordinance 9321-19 on first reading. Comments, council? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Agenda item 9.7.
Approve the request from the City of Clearwater to vacate a portion of a right-of-way lying in the north 10 feet of the south 30 feet of Lot 12, Block G, Fairmont subdivision, as recorded in Plat Book 9, page 85 of the public records of Pinellas County, Florida, and pass ordinance number 9327-19 on first reading. Mr. Burzak.
The portion of the right-of-way being vacated is not necessary for municipal use. It is deemed to be in the best interest of the city and the general public that it be vacated. City staff have reviewed and recommend the vacation. Questions?
Any questions of staff on agenda item 9.7? Motion?
Move approval of agenda item 9.7.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve agenda item 9.7. Comments, council? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Ms. Call.
Ordinance number 9327-19, an ordinance of the City of Clearwater, Florida, vacating a portion of a right-of-way lying in the north 10-foot of the south 30-foot of Lot 12, Block G, Fairmont subdivision, as recorded in Plat Book 9, page 85 of the public records of Pinellas County, Florida, providing an effective date.
Move approval of ordinance number 9327-19 on first reading.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to pass ordinance 9327-19 on first reading. Comments, council? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Mr. Horn, do you have any other business for council?
No, Mayor, I do not.
Ms. Aiken, do you have any other?
No, sir.
Okay. Agenda item 11.1. Council, as you know, I cannot make a motion or second it. That is a practice that is, comes with the position. I am very comfortable with that, even though at times I've seen, chairmen give their gavel away. I don't believe in that, so I will not be doing that. But I do hope that one of you will consider making a motion on one of the two motions that are before us on this resolution, and somebody else second it.
Mr. Mayor, I have reviewed both resolutions, option 1 and option 2. I'm going to make a motion to pass resolution 19-33, and I'm going to tell you why.
No, you make a motion and then,
first?
yeah.
Okay. I make a motion to adopt resolution 19-33.
And that's the second option.
That is option number 2.
Is there a second to the motion?
I will second it.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve resolution -1933, which is option number 2. I'll let you make your comments. Or let's see if anybody from the public wants to speak first, and then we can make our comments. Anybody from the public wishing to speak to the motion? We ask that you come forward. You would have 3 minutes to speak, and make sure that we have a card on file.
You have a card. My name is Kathleen Beckman, Clearwater resident. So I'll speak on 19-32, 33. Okay, so this is the one that calls for the review of laws governing the accessibility of high-capacity ammunition magazines and military-style assault weapons, encouraging Congress. So the distinction between this one and the other one is that this is a slightly weaker because it calls for a review of these laws, where 32 is support legislation that would be a ban on clips and weapons that are military-style assault weapons. And I would just say that I believe this one is weaker, and if you had a choice, I would urge you to adopt 19-32. The CDC reports that there are nearly 40,000 deaths related to guns. In the most recent year is 2017, 40,000 deaths a year from gun-related injuries. We need to do something more than just have people talk about it. I think, this is simply a symbolic resolution, but because it's symbolic, I think it should be as strong as possible.
Anybody else from the public wishing to speak to the motion?
Marita Lynch, excuse me, I just wanted to say kudos to you, Mayor Creticos, for your comments. Mr. Horn, you said earlier that one of the primary responsibilities of government is to keep our citizens safe. And we all know we're not safe. We can't go to church, we can't go to the convenience store, we can't go to school without the possibility of a mass shooting. But mass shootings are not the only issue for gun violence. There's also suicides and accidents, which means it's a public health problem. So we need to address this in a public health way. And we have the will, we don't have the will, we have the means in this country, we have the ability to address public health problems. What we don't have is the political will. So I'm so grateful at this first step towards creating the political will for change. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public to speak to the motion? If not, I will close public comment. Motion has been made and seconded to approve resolution -19-33. Ms. Aiken, do you want to read it, and then we'll have comments?
Yes, sir. Resolution number 19-33, a resolution of the City of Clearwater, Florida, supporting legislation that would support a national red flag law, supporting more stringent rules regarding background checks, especially at gun shows, calling for a review of laws governing the accessibility of high-capacity ammunition magazines and military-style assault weapons, encouraging Congress and all federal elected officials to adopt such legislation, providing an effective date.
Council, when I brought this resolution forward and suggestion at our work session, I knew it was going to cause a lot of angst among ourselves and the public. and I would agree that I would like the more stronger language. But government sometimes, this government was founded on the ability to compromise. And I think that while it's not the resolution that I want, as was indicated, it is symbolic. It sends a message to our legislators that, we want something to be done, and I, would appreciate your support of the resolution. Unless somebody else has some other comments to make, Mr. Hamilton.
The only comment I can make is the original resolution is not one I would have seconded, because I have always said when there's a problem and there's an issue to be dealt with, deal with the problem and the issue. But penalizing 99% of, people because of the actions of a very small number, that's not the way I govern. That's not the way I vote. Let's deal with the problem. Just like, I don't want to, even at our city level, I've always said that. I'm not going to restrict the entire community from doing something because of a couple bad apples. I want to deal with the bad apples. I said on Monday, this is, mental health is the core issue in almost all mass shootings, period. And we need to be dealing with mental health. This resolution, the 19-33, just says, yes, let's pay attention to these issues and let's discuss them and let the federal government, because they're the ones that have to enact the law anyways. So let's talk about it and let's get something done. But as I said, I am not comfortable taking away something from law-abiding citizens because of a very small number of bad apples. So.
Mr. Cundiff.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I've read all of the comments, the emails that came in to us since Monday, and both pro and con. And let me say that I really appreciate the input that the public has had on this. And I come to this issue seriously with both a personal and a constitutional perspective. I grieve with all who grieve at the loss of life, whether from firearms, either accidentally or illegally discharged. My own nephew in his 40s, because of alcohol and depression, took his own life with a handgun. On this issue, I object to the terminology of the resolution, military-style assault weapons. We can't try to prove a point by changing and shifting the meanings of words. Throughout history, as long as we've had weapons that have bullets in them, the pistol and single-shot musket and all weapons today can be used as assault weapons. So can a knife be an assault weapon, an axe, or a single-shot musket like my fourth great-grandfather carried and died with because he couldn't change the single-shot bullet fast enough to escape his Shawnee opponents who reached into their high-capacity quivers and pulled enough arrows out to kill him in 1774, 245 years ago next month. I don't believe in the limiting the size of magazines for law-abiding citizens. We have to be able to defend ourselves from the home invaders, the kidnappers, anyone threatening our lives with perhaps a high-capacity magazine. There has to be a level playing field. By the way, when I was 14, and for decades afterwards, I had and trained and used a .22 caliber rifle that was mentioned the other day with a high-capacity magazine. This was okay, 60 years ago. I'm showing my age now, sorry. Tubular feed, below the barrel could load 17 or 19 or 21 bullets. And I learned firearm safety through a church program with Minnesota State policemen. The firearm this resolution is talking about is a semi-automatic version of a weapon that looks like its military counterpart. I don't think it's reasonable or constitutional to take away an otherwise legal firearm just because it looks like another rifle. Automatic weapons have been illegal to own by citizens, for the most part, for about 90 years here in the United States. There exists already federal law covering magazines. Already there's a state red flag law, and the problem is that we have current laws that are not being enforced, and those need to be enforced before we start adding more laws that cover the same thing. Now, we agree with so many things on our council and in society, but when we ask the question, what do we do? Because I concur with the mayor that we need to do something. We need to address, as Hoyt said, the real problems, and those problems include the care and supervision of the mentally ill in our society. We have to address the issues of rage and anger in our society. We have to teach morality in our homes, in our churches, and in our schools, and in our neighborhoods. Right now, in our wonderful country, we can't have two people that have differing opinions without one person thinking the other person not just wrong, but is evil. And that's the way it is in our society today. And that needs to change. So I can't support this effort because I believe it's really a feel-good effort and does not address the real problems in our country that we could start at home with. Also, I don't want to send anything to Washington that I think could be rejected on constitutional grounds, so I won't be voting for it.
Mr. Pugliese.
Thank you, Mayor. I too supported the initial resolution, the first resolution, because I think back to the founding fathers, try to put myself in their shoes, and it was, the Constitution was formed on the principles of the pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness, and oppression from government without representation. So in the successive amendments that were added to the Constitution, I mean, I don't believe that the Second Amendment at the time when it was written, and it was Ball and Musket, they had ever anticipated the weapons of war that technology and development would ultimately be able to create. And I think back to what's the next closest time frame where a weapon of such mass killing ability, and it would have been in 1862 during the Civil War, the Gatling gun. And so I Googled the Gatling gun and I read the intent of the inventor who invented that gun, and it was to reduce the size of armies and to also not prolong that effort of war. So basically you have a weapon of mass killing more effectively, more efficiently, and more quickly to ultimately save more lives. So I go back to George Washington. If he would have come back from the war, and they had cannons, I mean, they had horrific wounds, but it did not have mass killings of, say, an M16 or an AK-47. Those are weapons of war. They were designed to kill effectively, efficiently, quickly. They were designed to stop an opposing soldier. I qualified as a sharpshooter in the United States Army, so I could take out a target long distance with an M16, or M60 machine gun. You can cut advancing troops in half. Those are weapons of war. I don't think that Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, any of the founding fathers come back from war in their homeland or their village if the Gatling gun would have been available and they wiped out all the women and children back at their home, that they would. That's why they provided a path forward in the Constitution for change and amendments. I really supported the first one. But knowing this council, my colleagues have spoke publicly, I knew the first one wouldn't pass. So as opposed to do nothing, and I agree with you, Dr. Cundiff, it is a feel-good effort, but we have to do something. And we did have legislation that put restrictions on these type of assault weapons. I do not believe that weapons of mass killing effectively, efficiently, and quickly have any room in our society. Even if we did every single thing that Dr. Cundiff talked about, it's still going to happen. I think the only way that's going to happen is to be able to take those types of weapons, and I leave that to our federal legislators, along with state legislators, to figure out what the definition is of these. They had made progress in that the last effort. So, again, I supported and I made the motion for the second one because I want my colleagues to do something as opposed to nothing and not take a stand. So, with those comments, I still support and stand strong on the second resolution, and I would hope my colleagues support that.
Motion has been.
Okay, no.
No, all right, I was.
Here it comes.
Okay.
As I stated before, I don't think it's, as councilmen of the city of Clearwater, we should be even saying anything about this. This is a Second Amendment national thing. And I was hoping this modified resolution would take out the banning of weapons and any kind of thing about the accessibility of high-capacity ammunition, and just basically, I was hoping it would just say we would really support a national red flag, because as Mr. Hamilton said, the issue, get right to the issue. The people that are out there killing have mental problems. And, you know, Florida's got this red flag law that has been supported very well. They've taken firearms out of people that have had them that have been reported to have a mental condition. And 15 or 17 other states have jumped on board with it. I think it should be a national program, and I would be supporting that if this is what that resolution actually said. But this goes further than that, stating that we want to look at the accessibility of high-capacity ammunition magazines and military-style assault weapons. Well, we have no machine guns. You have to have a special license to have a machine gun. An autoloader have been around a long time, and everybody has legally can own that. And so I'm not going to do anything that's going to take away somebody's right. I'm not going to put anything behind that to defend themselves and take away anything on that account. So I'm not going to support this revised resolution.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve resolution -19-33. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no.
No.
No?
Motion carries 3-2 with Albritton and Cundiff in opposition. Closing comments, Mr. Hamilton.
I think I'm good.
Mr. Albritton.
Well, I was really hoping that we would, I really would like to see this red flag law move forward and nationally talked about, because we need to do something. But I don't think we need to stomp on anybody's Second Amendment rights. So with that, this is a very complicated issue, and it's heated on both sides. And I realize that everybody has a viewpoint on this. But maybe some good will come out of this, and maybe we could help some of the people that to have the weapons taken away so they don't do any damage.
Mr. Polglaze.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to go to something I think is very happy, and I want to, this past summer, it was suggested by the Parks and Rec director because he knew that I had waterfront property, and I had concerns. My 3-year-old grandson lives with me, and it was a matter of timing, figuring out how to get him to swim lessons. And I want to compliment the city of Clearwater, the city manager, staff, and specifically Parks and Rec, Kevin Dunbar, because he came to the city manager and they come up with this idea that way too many drownings, any drowning, one drowning of a child is too much. And so it became an affordability thing, accessibility. We've talked about accessibility. And so what the city of Clearwater did at his guidance was we made swim lessons available, resident, non-resident, it didn't matter who, $10 per session. And I will tell you that it has been such a popular program in the city of Clearwater. We have folks coming from all over the county bringing their kids. At last count, we had over 600 kids throughout the summer, and it was such a popular program through the summer that it's ongoing today, and my grandson starts session 5 this month and next week. So I'm glad we started that. We had the foresight to do that. I'm glad we're continuing to do it for $10, whether you're a resident, whether you have a rec card, whether you are not, because one child drowning in Pinellas County in the city of Clearwater is unacceptable. And I want to compliment you, Mr. Horn, for continuing that practice, and I think it's great. I think we can rest easy that 600 kids now know how to hold their breath when they go underwater and swim to the side of the pool. So thank you.
Mr. Kondo.
Thank you. I was at the Long Center when the last session just ended and saw the kids get out of the water. And okay, my responsibility was to give them popsicles, kind of a little cold prize for what they've done. And it's 600% any one day, isn't it?
I think have signed up since the beginning of the summer through now.
Just hundreds and hundreds of people.
Both Morningside and Long Center.
Morningside and Long Center. It's a wonderful program. I'd like to talk briefly about another program. I've been trying to get the video the last couple of sessions, but because of my position on the council, I'm a member of the Tampa Bay Estuary Board of Directors. And you have probably seen, maybe you own a Tampa Bay Estuary license plate. And there is a new license plate public service announcement that's out. And I had a little hand in getting it done since I was on the board and I knew some things were coming up. About a year ago, I got a friend of mine who's a student at St. Pete College in media studies, joined the Tampa Bay Estuary Citizens Committee. And so he was coming to some of the meetings and sessions, and so the board decided that they needed to emphasize the license plates. Sales were lagging a little bit, so he offered to build a public service announcement for it. And actually, he's doing two, one 30-second and one 60-second. The 60-second one is done already. And I had told them before, even before this idea, that I had spent 6 years in radio, 5 years in television, working on commercials and public service announcements, and that I'd be happy to do the voiceover for it. And so my student came to me and said, we'd like you to do the voice of the license plate. And I thought, oh, this is going to be a wonderful, funny, well, it wasn't funny at all, it's just informative, but that's okay. Anyway, we can't get it onto our computer here, but if you go to YouTube and look up Tampa Bay Estuary Board program, you'll see that that video and hear my voice as the voice of the professorial voice of the license plate. And I think it's kind of cool, kind of fun, and I've had so much fun recording it. Thank you.
I'd like to remind everybody that Sunsets for Pier 60 continue out on the beach on Friday and Saturday. Also on Saturday, September the 21st, the Clearwater swim lessons will be offered at the Morningside Recreation Center. That's Saturday the 21st starting at 8 o'clock. The lessons are $10 per child. A second set of lessons will be offered in October. On the 25th, which is the last Wednesday of the month, we will have our free electronics collection recycling event at our facility on King Road, off of King Road. The Hooters Offshore Nationals will be in downtown and on Clearwater Beach September the 27th through the 29th. Those are the high-speed boat races. We encourage you to come downtown to see the races. At the Race Village, there will be a boat parade in downtown on Friday night. Saturday night will be the race, we'll continue the Race Village and fireworks. And then on Sunday, starting at noon, the actual race will take place off of the Pier 60 dock going north on Clearwater Beach. With that, I want to thank my colleagues for their attention today and through the week on these issues. I know it's hard. But compromise is important, and the ability to work with each other is paramount, not only for our own personal agendas or what perceived to be personal agendas, but also for the good of the residents of the entire city of Clearwater. That was my intent in bringing this forward. If we have concerns on other items, that are also at the federal level, I had been hesitating on this one. I found an article that goes back to February of 2018 on this subject, and I said nothing different then that I haven't been saying today. This is important. It is going to continue to haunt us much more so than any new technology that is out there now or in the future. It is symbolic, but at least it shows that as a city, we recognize that there's a problem and we're calling on people to do something, and I appreciate the support that was given to the motion. Thank you for spending part of your evening with us tonight. Our next meeting will be on Thursday, October the 3rd. Our work session will be on Wednesday, October the 2nd. To those who will be celebrating the Jewish holidays, we extend our best wishes to them. And also, before we close, we need to remember our arson dog, Quincy, who passed away since our last meeting. I know he was an important part of our fire department and fire and rescue department, and we appreciate his service and the people who were working with him. And I think we have a replacement dog in training, if not here yet. So with that, we are adjourned. Thank you very much.